PD just released an update on Twitter letting us know that update 1.49 is going to be released on July 6th during the GTWS. This is a new opportunity for PD to give us the things that we've been asking for. New tracks, new cars, new events, or maybe a Vision Gran Turismo car. But I think this is an opportunity for PD to do some real improvements here. There's some quality of life improvements, especially in sport mode, that PD can do to really enhance the player's experience. And it probably won't take too much to implement these. So with that being said, here are 5 updates PD can do right now to really enhance the player experience. Okay, if you play Gran Turismo 7 or even watch it, you know that in the top left corner of the screen there's relative information. So it includes things like who's the leader, who's in the podium positions, where are you, and the relative gap to the cars in front and behind you, as well as the leader. Now this is good, it's a good starting point, but I think it could take a little bit of a lesson from ACC or iRacing, where the relative information is a little bit more in depth. Meaning that you can see the distance between not only the car in front of you, behind you, and the leader, you can see it compared to everyone around you. This allows you to make insights as to maybe the person that you're working with is a little bit too far off the pace, maybe the pack in front of you is getting away or getting a little bit closer. You can't really make those judgments just based on looking at the relative information in Gran Turismo 7. And that data already exists. How do I know this? Well, as soon as you pass someone, that information is already loaded into the system, even before you get to the next time marker, right? If you look at it really closely, every couple of seconds you pass a microsector and that time updates, right? So when you pass someone, it may update again once you get past that next microsector. So if that calculation is done all the time, why not just put it on the screen? Okay, so we're gonna move from the top left to the top right. In the top right, you'll see the track map. Now that track map is alright. It has triangles representing you and all the other drivers on track. And in general, if you're doing a short race, you can see where you are on track relative to the people around you. But the problem becomes when you do longer races, endurance races, where the gap between you might not be a couple corners, it might be a couple of laps. And you might want to know exactly where the other car is in comparison to you, or the car that you're coming up to as you try to unlap yourself. This also becomes an issue with qualifying, where the relative information on the top left of the screen actually just lists where you are in the qualifying order and how far you are away from qualifying better than the person who's currently in front of you and the gap to the person behind you. But also, you don't know where your closest qualifying competitors are, if they're going to get another lap in or if they're not. Also, we have a lot of community-run Gran Turismo 7 leagues. And when showing qualifying to a viewing audience, it becomes really difficult because you don't know who's about to start a hot lap and who's not. Maybe having an indicator that shows the car number or the current qualifying order or race order, if we're in the race, will make it easier for the camera to point to where the action actually is. Okay, we did the top left, we did the top right, and now we're going to move to the bottom somewhere. The MFD in Gran Turismo 7 is okay. It tells you vital information like what your TCS settings are, fuel mapping, brake balance, etc., etc. The issue I have with it is when watching replays and spectating in online lobbies. How many times have you looked at a top time from time trials in daily races or whichever mode, pull up the replay, and look at the top driver and what they do on track? That's great, you can tell shifting points, braking points, turning angles, and things of that nature, but you can't tell if they're using brake bias. And those other indicators on the MFD for counter steer, ASM, you can tell if they're using it or not, but you can't tell to which degree, strong or weak. And when spectating in online lobbies, the MFD just shows you whatever it wants to show you. So you might get lucky and see if somebody's using a fuel map during a race. You might get lucky and see if somebody's using brake bias. You might get lucky and see if somebody's using TCS and to what degree, but it's not controllable. So what I think PD can do here is obviously allow us to switch through these and let us toggle what we see on the actual screen so we can tell what a racer is doing. As far as countersteering, ASM, ABS, and things on this part of the MFD, I think this ties in hand with the next point about being able to view setups. We've had daily races where setups are allowed to be changed and optimized, whether it's the LSD, whether it's the suspension, downforce, etc., etc. And in the same vein as before, you might see somebody dominating a daily race and you want to learn from them to see what they're doing differently from you. Well, when the difference is the setup, there's no mechanism to see what setup they're using. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should all copy the world's #1 time setup. Our driving styles are different, but I think it'll at least help level the playing field by giving a place to start and then adjusting based on your driving style. Okay, this last one I think might be the easiest of all to implement and the one that I'm really asking for the most: password protected lobbies. The way that lobbies work online in Gran Turismo 7 is that you can set them to public, which allows anybody to join, or you can set them to friends, which in theory would allow just people on your friends list as the host to join. However, what I've seen is that it allows friends of friends to join as well. So if someone on your friends list has 100 friends, all of those 100 friends are eligible to join. And the same thing for the next person who joins your lobby, and so on and so forth. So when you actually meant to keep it to your smaller friend list, it actually balloons in size, sometimes exponentially. When you're just trying to have a race with some of your close friends, or if you're running a league and you just need it to be restricted to the drivers, a password would solve all of that immediately. You just give the password to the people who you want to join the lobby, and then the rest is history. The alternative is to just kick people out, and that can get really tiresome, doing it over and over and over again. So please, PD, let's get this one done. There you have it. Those are my top 5 quality of life fixes that PD can do right now. If you have other quality of life fixes that you want PD to implement, let me know what they are in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more Gran Turismo 7 content. Thanks for watching.